In this video, we are going to create our login API. So I am in my views.py file. Let's create a class user login view, and it will be a generic view, a generic API view, and our serializer class. We need to create our serializer for our login view. So go to your serializer, create a class, our user login serializer, and it will be a serializer dot model serializer, and for login we have our username field, serializer dot char field, copy that, paste it below, and a password. You can pass argument in our serializer like label, username, and in password you can type label is password, style will be input type, a password, so when user type password it is shown in dot dot dot. After that we need to create our validation method. So let's create a function with name validate, and it will be a self request, it will be a self and the data that coming from the front end user equals to, we need to import our authentication class. So at the top django dot contrib dot auth import our authenticated class. It's help us to authenticate our user. So authenticate, and we pass our data. So if our user and our user is active, then we need to return our user. Else we need to raise our serializer. Our serializer dot validation error that incorrect credential is passed. So we use authentication class to authenticate our user and we pass our data to this class. If our user is active is true, then we return our user. If not, then we raise our serializer error. Let's import our serializer in our view. So go to view, first import our user login serializer. Our user login serializer, and in the front end the form is submitted. A login form is submitted, so it will be a post request. So let's create a post self request asks serializer equals to self dot get serializer, and we pass a data which is coming from request dot data. So form is submitted on the front end and we get our request. From that request we are extracting the data and pass it to our serializer to validate. Once our serializer is valid, so if our serializer is valid is our method, then user equals to our serializer dot validated data, and we also need to raise our exception to true, and we return our response. So it will be same, copy that and paste, and in the message you have successfully login and also we need a token variable. So token equals to our auth token dot object dot create for our user. Save the file So if our serializer is valid, we are validate data with our user. Now let's create a URL. So go to URL, account URL, import our login, user login view, and create a path login slash a user login view dot as view and name it login. Let's save the file, a small, save the file, save our view file and serializer. Go to Postman, create another request, name it user login. It will be a post request. Copy the URL path and make it a login. And in header, accept application JSON, and in body select raw, and from drop down select JSON. Let's send the empty request. We are getting an error. So we get an error because we did not create our class meta in our login. So go to your PyCharm in our serializer. Because of the model serializer, we have to create our class meta. You can change it to dot serializer. The both are same. You can use one or another. Let's save the file. You can also use model serializer also, but we need to, for that we need to create our class meta. I will show you another example. In this we create our serializer. So let's go to login and send our empty request. Now it is showing that our username and password field are required. Let's give the user name and a password. So we are using our John12 and it is password has 123. He has a password 123. So John12 and password will be 123, but we are sending our wrong password. So let's send the request. As you can see, when we get an error that our incorrect credential is passed because we are sending our wrong password. Let's log in with our new password. So it will be 123. Let's send the request now. As you can see that our message, login message is shown our user data and we also send our token. So we have successfully logged in our user. So in the next video, we are going to create our user profile API. I will see you in the next video.